So good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to Alumni Talk Session 4 of Civil Engineering Department. So now I would like to introduce today's speaker, Ms. Nagalakshmi Prasanna. She is graduated in the year 2014 from CMR Technical Campus, and at present she is working as HR coordinator at Deloitte Company. And now I hand over the session to Ms. Prasanna. So over to you, Prasanna. You can start now.
Hello. Yes. If you could help me if I am audible enough for you, that would be really great.
Yes, it is audible, Prasanna. You can continue. You can start.
Great. Thank you so much, sir. So before I start, let me tell you where I come from and why am I here today. I'm Prasanna Nagalakshmi, and I work as a HR in Deloitte. Just like how Bhaskar has just told you. Bhaskar sir has just told you. Sorry, got used to the honorifics in our line of work. So, and the reason why I'm here is that, first of all, thank you for inviting me over here. I was invited to share about or talk about our college, CMR Technical Campus. There's a catch here. So I said, yes, I would be happy. But I would not be able to talk what CMR Technical Campus is, but I would always tell you what it has meant for me all these years. Okay, what it has given me. And my straight answer is, what you see, it's me. My campus and my college has given me to you. Because how do I put it? I'll just tell you, just tell me if these names ring out some name or if they sound familiar to me. Dr. Vibia, Dr. Rafi, Dr. Gauri, Ms. Vijay Lakshmi, Ms. Sumita, Dr. Gopal Reddy. I know they're just names for you, but these people are the foundations for me. These people are the stepping stones that made me, look into what actually interests me, what encourages you to do. There were days when I go back to 2014, 2011 to 2014 is my batch time. And when I go back to that time, you could see the days we spent are not just days, they are explorations. They are kind of, new learnings every day. There were days together that we spent our time in our cement lab, fluid mechanics lab, my favorite part, fluid mechanics lab, and our survey labs, survey days, roaming around the campus, taking the staff, moving around, just measuring inch by inch. That at that point it was like, yeah, this is what I'm interested in, or this is what civil engineering is all about. No, not at all. So again, to spice up this discussion, I would tell you, I am a civil engineer, okay? I am and I will be, I always stay like that. But I'm also a HR, which is not by chance, by choice, because I felt this is something that my skills are much useful at. But my passion and my goal for choosing civil engineering has been there, and they have been put in right point. So it's not that everyone who joins a civil engineering department should be doing civil engineering work. It's just that the reason you have joined there should be sufficeful, and that purpose has to be solved. So now let me put it this way. You might have heard this topic, or the famous cliche line, there are no jobs in civil engineering. And like, if you are studying a civil engineering, why do you choose another industry? You have to stay in civil engineering. So do remember these points and coming back to them. And the reason I said I would come back to them is I want to explain to you what is the difference between industries you choose and why you have to be in that particular industry. Okay, so my goal for civil engineering was to build my own home, gift that home to my mom, and this was the simple and the straight goal I had when I had chosen civil engineering, and that goal is still continuing, and that purpose has been solved. So the next goal I chose was something else, and this in this process of choosing my goal and settling at what I am, this strong foundation lies in my 4 years I've spent in CMRTC. You know, there used to be SAT classes, which I went just to pass my time, just to have something break apart from my regular civil engineering subjects. And that interested me somewhere, which gave me like, I was really good at aptitude. Okay, you could ask Santosh sir, or you could ask Dr. VBR who is sitting there. They would tell you, because that piqued my interest then. So okay, so the lifestyle I wanted was quick money, and that's why I choose IT then. It's not like you don't have offers in civil engineering. There are some valid reasons. Don't sound cliche. There are some valid reasons why being a woman, being in a very, a job that demands a lot of physical attention, and at the same time a lot other things, uh, a lot other things. There are the choices I have made in my life, but the ability I have was given from my college. Yeah, that's the make it true, it's complete straight thing, because that's what I have seen, that I have built from myself, that I've learned from people around me, and that's the reason I have went for our placements, and I got the job. I started working there, and then I started following my dream. Okay. So here I have a small chat question. Um, how do you want? Would you want me to take the chat questions? Have they come in, or would you prefer a Q&A session at the end? Uh, yeah, if you could answer me, that would help me take the path. Okay, so not getting the answer, I would take it as let's have the questions coming in one by one. I would encourage all of you to drop a chat message to me privately on your questions, and I'll handle them one by one. I do have one question here. I'll get back to you on that, because I just wanted to quickly cover a few tagline points that we are looking at. The purpose for this call. Okay, give me one quick second. Let me move this down. Okay, that's where it goes. Right. So that is how the choices I have made. That is how the college has helped me. Now coming back to the industry. So I would take the questions directly. So here it is. Someone has asked me to tell me if that we would like to know how to enter into companies is what we studied enough to get into companies, or we need anything more than that. Definitely you need a lot more than what your college provides you. See, college is a vessel. It has a limit to what it can give you and what you need to take it from it. Okay, as much as you can grab from the college, that is where you are using the every penny you have spent to its full potential. So for instance, the day when we spent our time in a cement lab and the fluid mechanics lab, we used to take 30 minutes after our college, or 30 minutes after every lab session we had, we used to go back to our favorite labs, sit with the invigilator or sit with the lab assistant sirs who are there and work on our favorite projects. Projects, for instance, I'm sure Dr. VBR would remember this. The tsunami box we did, sir, the glass box. So my interest during our college days was the seismic studies, the wave technology, and GIS. So that is where my project has been built up. So every moment I spent, the process I had gave me a good grip on the seismic studies, which landed me a good project for my final year. So that is what you have to test your limit at. But then there is this thing. So now I feel now I feel like bringing back the topic I have parked at, that is why you have to choose one particular industry, or why I have not chosen civil as my full-time work. So the thing is, you can describe industries as two types. One is like a flower and one is like a fruit. So flower, they bloom very quickly, but then they wither that quickly. So IT industries or the fast-paced industries like IT, marketing, and others are like that. The moment you enter into the market as a fresher, you are paid high, and very quickly you would reach that hit point in your career. But then you are tend to early retirement in that, or early break from it. But the conventional groups like ECE, electronics, civil, mechanical, aero, these are strong ones. They are like fruit. It takes time for them to grow. The same way it takes time for you to earn your full potential. That could be from 15 years to 20 years. You started very low price, or you started very low earnings, but you will end up with great knowledge, great experience. So does the great money that comes with it. So for you to get that, you need exposure out of your box. That is exposure of buildings, exposure of real-time troubles, real-time examples. So for instance, you are to build a dam and you are given that job. I'm sure whatever you're learning in your college will not suffice that. No matter how much big or how much well sophisticated labs and how well sophisticated bookish knowledge you possess, there is something called real time troubles that come with it. So you have to focus on that. So you have to go out of your college, go on to projects, learn, do research on particular projects, the particular, like for example, like skyscrapers, the sand island, the famous one we know. Why does it happen? How did that come up? You have to work on them. That research would definitely support you to give to depict to the companies outside that, what, it's not just my book, it's not just the code book that I know, it's that I have something other than this. I know how it is going on there. All I need to do is just look at it. I'm definitely helpful and resourceful for you in that perspective. I hope that answers the question that has come in. Okay. Here I would take a break, and I want to know your thoughts on what particularly you want to know, and what would you expect from me to continue on this. Bhaskar sir, can we have everyone unmuted, or can we have them drop their questions in the chat box for me?
Ma'am, at the last session, at the ending of the session, we'll ask the questions.
Yes, I think I'm almost done. I have covered the points that I wanted to put in front to my mates.
Yes, students, if you have any doubts, okay, you can ask to her.
To help you with, bring up more questions to me. So I have been in, yeah, you can quite call them diverse industries. I have been in civil industry. I have worked there. I have worked in marketing, educational industries, and now I am in international recruitment, and this also comes into IT service development and IT services educations. Okay, what made you choose software instead of civil? Perfect question. It's actually what I'm looking for. So the straight answer for that is my comfort and the earning power, the earning I have. So I'm a very feminist person. If you ask why do or like civil engineering is not fit for women, I would be the first one who would raise my hand and like, how can you say that? What proof do you have? But eventually there are, I know it sounds cliche, but again, there are valid reasons. As I've just told you in the beginning of our conversation, civil engineering needs a lot of your physical and mental attention. Okay, my BTech project, my final project come internship was with a distribution model that's a digital distribution model. You'll be aware of DEM modeling, right? So it is about designing a water distribution system through dam modeling, and this needed a lot of survey. We had to go into the fields like, so this has happened in Chittor. So we had to roam around the whole Chittor district within a particular set of time, and my family background is like we are all women except for my dad. Yes, that is there. So we are all female gang at home. So we are always very close knit. Never been traveled alone in my life. I've never did that. Still till now, I have never did travel alone in my out of box till my MBA, I should say. Yeah. So till then, my the cocoon I had was being safe in some place. Just be calm, sit somewhere, do your work. It's okay. We don't want you to do save countries, do wars and all. We just need you to be like happy, be in front of us. So that is the reason I have chosen a more calm and sit in a corner kind of job. That is, and yeah, a lot of other comes the quick money, because being a woman, I'm not sure till how long I would be in competition with the kid and line my career. At one point of time, I would get married and I would take some other goals as my main priorities. So I didn't want to spend my whole time just in one place. So that is the reason I have looked for which could give me a lot of exposure in smaller time, and that is where I've chosen HR. And what are the rules after completing BTech? So let's talk in Indian language. I'm telling you the truth, guys. You would realize your dreams only after BTech. True. Because I am sure out of like 30 members or 40 members in your class, there would be only 10% or 5% people who actually come in to civil engineering because that's their dream from the childhood. They wanted to build buildings, they wanted to create good things, and they wanted to start a business kind of sensibilities. But most of them would choose it because, hey, my father has a company, I would be the successor of that, so let me take civil engineering. It would use me, it would come in hand for me. Or someone, yeah, civil engineering has nice time, had no other chance, then didn't get the other chance with the other side of
Second,
subject, you choose civil engineering.
NPS.
Sorry. Okay. So this is how you choose your studies. They are not by choice, they are by chances. Or your mindset at that point of time is different to what you come and you experience out in the market once you're out of your college. So you, whatever you are planning right now, should keep in mind have you had seen yourself after 10 years. Guys, this is very important. Please imagine what you want to be after 10 years, and then you will definitely see the steps that you have to take after BTech. I hope that question is answered. Okay. So Dati, I hope your questions are answered. I was able to answer them. Next, taking on Yashwant's question. Hi, Yashwant. Yeah, nice to meet you. What actually companies look for or they expect from freshers? Yes, very good question again. So, what companies look at you is definitely not that you will be able to help them, or like you could solve their problems like this as soon as you enter. Okay, it takes time, but what they look at you is your interest to learn, your abilities to absorb what is taught. Okay, and what do you bring onto the table differently. So that would be your thought process, your can-do attitudes. So for instance, you would see, you all know the famous place in our Hyderabad, the park building, right? So it has a cantilever, and that is the one of a kind, first and ever built in Hyderabad. So that engineer, how did he come with that idea, saying that when not everyone can do it, how did he able to bring that up and put it into process? So that is what companies look into you. Bring difference, bring something unique to the table. So that can, and the solution is there in your textbooks. The solution is there in the time you spend every day in your labs. If you're taking your labs, I don't say seriously, if you consider them worthful and useful, you will definitely be able to help or be useful to this country and the companies. Hope, Yashwant, I was able to answer that again. Okay, the next question I am picking is from Satvik. Hello, Satvik. Yes, some reasons why some of the students, can I pick out some reasons why some of the students of one respective stream chooses to join and continue their careers in other streams? Well, Satvik, as I told you, it's just about comfortability. Not everyone are ready to come out of their box and do what it takes for that job to do. You know, if you had seen around, sorry for that, if you had seen simple images of civil engineering. If you just type civil engineering in the Google, you would see some images of people working in adverse conditions. Like, for example, to build the Trade World Center, to rebuild the Trade World Center, there was a great difficulty after 64 floors they had. There was a lot of winds that coming in, that people who were even clamped to the trusses they had, they could take the breeze within their bones, from their bones. So at that conditions also, they would go and build it for you. Sometimes you see it deep down, like 100 feet down your earth, from below your sea level, they work there. So tell me, how many of them are ready to, or how many are able to do such works? So everyone has to start your career somewhere there, in that kind of adverse situations. So people are just afraid for the first few years of trouble you have in your civil engineering career. Not only just civil engineering, all the conventional jobs require this kind of commitment and down to earth, or you have to step below your comfort zone and work there. So this is what is making people think, yeah, just is it really needed for me? Because for an IT person, it is different. They could just sit at home very peacefully, or they could just go to an office, sit there, take their laptop, and then they can just deep dive in it, which can create money at the same time. Okay, so that is also giving them the better earnings than what a particular job is giving them. So that answers the reason why people are choosing this kind of industries, right? And as it keeps going on, everything needs technology in its life. From mining to travel to transports, even civil engineering structures. If you have to, in olden days, we used to do the calculations for estimates for M3 concrete, M33 concrete mixes. Now you're just a software solves that. We used to calculate every kind of loads that happen on a truss or a steel item, and now the analytics e-analytics solves that. So that is the reason. It is like the development that is happening around in the industries with respect to technologies might tend make you to be aligned to that particular industry, or it's your personal comfort. Okay. Hope Satvik I've answered that one. So let's take the next question. Meena. Hello, Meena. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. Thanks that my speech was informative for you. Have to enter into a company after completing my BTech, and how we can bridge the gap between industry and institute, I mean college. So thanks for the question, Meena. So let me explain to you how it goes. Let me explain you from the second question that you have asked to the first. I want to come from the back, because how can you fill the gap between your industry and your institute is by, as I've told you, by research, by studying what people have already done. Okay, so during our classes, or during our my stay with CMR, every time I've gone with so how many of you make use of your association? So that association has started with our batch. I'm very happy to say that. So how many of you have made use of that? You have presentations, you have class representations, you have mini projects, you have assignments to be submitted, and all these are your ways to fill that gap. So what you do, what the subject teaches you, what the book says, is still your exams and till your studies. But your questions that come up, out of box questions that come up in your assignments and the projects you choose, and the presentations that you get into you bring into your classes would give you that, you can fill your gap there. So and you can ask me, how does that happen? Because for every presentation, you would pick a topic. You have to research on that. For that research and the topics you take, they are real-time establishments. They are happening there. They have solved a problem, or it is a scenario happened really. That means it could happen to you, and there is the need of you to look into a solution. That is where the companies are working on. So you are trying on their projects, you're trying on their deals. So that would help you get more observation, more exposure to the real industry. Okay. And keep every time you do field visits, I'm sure you have field visits. That's the best part of being a civil engineer, right? Every now and then you like, yeah, we need to have a field visit, take us there, take us here. And that is how it used to be for us. So we had this wonderful chance of going to NGRI when there was a exhibition happening on earthquake. That was the first time that my interest picked up on how tsunamis are happening. Why are they happening? Best one straight question I would ask you, what is the difference between epicenter and hypocenter? Could anyone give me a quick answer on that? Okay, so I think that it shouldn't sound gibberish for you, to talk on real aspects. It shouldn't sound gibberish, but it is sounding gibberish for you. That means you have not deep diving into what you are doing. So this point I have learned from that exhibition, not from my textbooks. And yes, it is there in my textbooks, but my approach to that was different when I learned. It was just a definition for me. But when I really saw the happenings there, that is when it opened my eyes. It's clearly given me knowledge. So that is how I was able to fill a gap there when I applied for my internship in a particular company. Okay. And the next question, have to enter into a company after completing my BTech. So Meena, not only Meena, let me put this for everyone. After you enter a company, it's to visit their career websites, drop your resumes there. You can drop your resumes, reach out to the HR department or the contacts that are given there. But choose well. Choose well on to which company you are approaching to, because company is your second mother. So every company that you choose should be able to satisfy what you're looking for, and you should be interested to give back what you take from them. So for so many people out there, you can see all those successful people, you call these successful people, they had a interest, they had a ideology that took them to that particular place. They don't work for money, they work for their interests, their ideologies. And that is how your interest in your work style should be growing into. So choose a company that you want to be. So before you want to choose a company, choose what you want to be, how you want to be after 10 years. Okay, that take you to a particular industry, then a particular company in that. So you can just do a little bit of research in terms of civil engineering. I could name few. The most common names that you find around are Larsen and Turbo and the Nagarjuna. These are the common ones that are found around in your locality. There are other medium-raised companies also, or I would say start your level with a startup. Okay, startup, they won't pay. Don't expect them to pay because they are only running with a small amount of money. They cannot distribute money when you're not giving your 100% back to them. But what they teach you is the real, what you say, the field knowledge. Work there at least for 3 months to 6 months, maybe your internship, maybe your first job after BTech. Take that as your stand, and then you can go to any big company and tell them what you are capable of, what you have learned, and what you can do. This will buy you an entrance into the companies. Okay, let me take the next question. Okay, so I have Srihita. She is asking me, due to few circumstances, even civil students try to get into software. So being a civil engineering student, what skill courses should we learn to get into software? Okay, so a civil engineer who is even using a software is not a software engineer. He is still a civil engineer. Okay, civil engineering has two perspectives. Like you can break them into two branches. One is the field work and the one is the station work. So most of the females, they choose to be in station work, not just by their choice, but sometimes it is intended by the companies that they they prefer females to be on desk works. There is a reason here. You know, being if you are a social worker, or you are a kind of very humanitarian in nature, and you start seeing it's not fair not having males there, females only here and all. Think about the perspective in their shoes. Okay, not all females are okay to go into the field, work there. It's okay. Once or twice in a month is still okay. They have to go. Even you're a software worker on civil engineering department, in civil engineering department, you need to go into the field to get the basic readings or the dimensions that you need. You have to look into the field. Only then you can bring that into your imaginary or virtual world. But staying there is not easy for the whole month. Staying there for the whole month, irrespective of times, irrespective of seasons, irrespective of your health conditions, is not correct or not happy for them. So they choose the desk works. So the desk works involve you, the basic and the most key software for any civil engineering is AutoCAD. You have to have it on tips. You AutoCAD is not just putting your lines, not just having a floor plan or designing it. You need to know how to design the 3D structures. You need to know how the AutoCAD, like you need to have that power of imagining it in a perpetual directions, in three dimensional, interdimensional, top view, bottom view, perpetual views. Like this, you have different views that you need to have grip on. It's like whenever you see anything, any kind of structure, you should be able to see, like, yeah, if you see from the top view, it is just a square or it is just a round. For instance, World Trade Center, I would suggest you to go back, do some study about it, or just look about how this World Trade Center has been constructed in US. It's a very beautiful design. You have a square within a circle, and then a hexagon. This kind of imagination, you should be able to have it when you see a structure. This would help you land your perfect job that you're looking for in software. And the next comes ETABS. So this ETABS is a kind of software that helps you design columns, your beans, where you need to put, not where you need to put, how much steel is required in that particular structure, and how would bulking, or where would the torsion happen, how would it break, how would the structure be standing with what particular amount of steel. So this is for your work method, work stress method, and the economical method kind of designing your concrete, designing your materials. See, and the other one is e-analytics, I guess. You also have NCAD. This is half mechanical. It's more of mechanical kind of used one, but you have a small perspective that is helpful in civil engineering. And this MCAD is much useful in designing water-based or fluid mechanics systems. Okay, like fluid mechanic valves, fluid mechanic, the V channels, T channels, and all that stuff will be are usually done on NCAD. They are designed there, and you have something called EPA. EPA is not particularly used as everyone. It is used for fluid mechanics. It is used to calculate the drive capacity, the velocity, the acceleration of water when you use one particular section. So basically, they do MCAD. They would prepare a section, and they use that dimensions to test on EPA. And and most of the companies have their own built house built softwares that helps them to have all what they need and use according to their purpose. So software, if you have basic knowledge on these things, it can help you choose one particular that particular role in those companies. So if you go to Naukri, if you go to Naukri.com or Shine or all these job portals, they would actually mention what kind of software they are looking at for the people, for the talent to come in. So based on that also, you can take your next steps to study your softwares. Hope that answered your question, Srihita. I'm not able to, sorry, I wasn't able to help you much on the software front, because the softwares I mentioned to you are the basic ones, and they are from my old times. Okay, so it's all X generation. Now Z generation is in front of you, so you have to look what suits for Z generation. Okay, thank you. I'm studying. So you could be wondering what is she doing staring at the screen. I'm just studying the responses that you have given me. Few are overwhelming, thank you. And I'm just trying to see if I could answer any more questions for you. You have. Okay, so there is a question here from. So there is a question here asking. How can we get interns in companies? That will be the key role to get into the companies, either for intern or a job. So usually if you are applying for an internship through which is not through your personal connections, there is a 90% chance that you land a job if you perform well in that. How that works? So where do you find these internships? Google is the answer for all of this. Simply just search for it, you will find it. You have Internwala, you have 2019, you have Naukri portal, you have Naukri interns, Naukri freshers, you have Shine, you have Job Indeed, everything, they post you internships. So understand this. Basically, internships are not paid, okay, because they are part-time. But if you are not finding an internship, that is okay. You can just directly look for freshers. Just search for full-time jobs for freshers, because see, once you're at your fourth year, second semester, you wouldn't have classes that you need to attend regularly. And even if you have to, that would be for 3 days in a week or 2 days in a week. So if you are able to find a job where they need your skills for 5 days a week or 4 days a week, you can always negotiate that with your HR or the company that you're joining. When it is a small company and they know that you are studying, they would definitely give that leverage for you to attend your classes, at the same time work for them full time on the days. You can find them through, you can only get to know this after you send your resume to them and they find your resume worthy enough. They would call back, you would have your interview, and at that point of time, after your interview, if you are selected, you can just tell them, or during the interview you can just tell them, hey, this is my experience, I've been working with your company for so many days, so many months, that it really impressed me to learn from you. So that is why I am here today, to find any small possibility I could have to be with you, work, learn from you. So I'm sure they would come down to help you with that. Maybe not all companies, but you will find it. So I would ask you to choose these startups or the mid-range companies, apply to them, send your resumes directly to their career portals. So they have career, so any website you take, for example, I'm sure you might be knowing about the company Navayuga, the one who handles our Hyderabad. So they work on building the water line structures for around in and around Hyderabad. So if you go there, you have careers page in their website. You can just directly upload there, write them to them saying, hey, I'm looking for an internship. But never ever hope or expect for earnings, because not all companies could provide you, especially and when it is a point of time like the whole nations are in recession. Sorry dude, can't be helped. But definitely, if you want to see what and how it goes in the market, that's the right and that's the best way you could find. So I have started like this. So I've sent around my resume, or I've looked around different kinds of companies, and I've approached their HRs asking, do you have internships, do you allow internships and stuff, based on your interest. So again, choose where you want to do your project. That equally would give you the answer where you have to look for. And when I'm talking about project, it's not just your mini and major projects. They are for your college. They are for JNTU to look at what you have been learning till now. What you can do would actually be shown, or would actually be put into picture when you show them any project that you have personally and you have initiated by yourself. Make a group of 4 or 5 friends, do those small projects. It doesn't need to be out in the air, telling about what you have to do or what you have done to your faculty, or doesn't need for them to impose on you, you have to do this, do that, make this, make that. You have to come up yourself, reach out to them for ideas, reach out to them for their feedback. Okay, they are in a way your company, the one that is going to hire you tomorrow. Because if you're able to impress and convince your own faculty that says that yes, you are able to impress someone who is coming from outside, the chances are, like, if you're able to impress them by 70%, you can be able to impress them by 30%, because the other 50% is knocked out because they see you day in and day out. They know what you can do, what is your potential, but the coming person doesn't know that. So whatever you show him in your resume, whatever you tell him in your interviews, would make him understand, okay, yeah, this person can do something for me, kind of thing. Okay. What is better to do after UG? So again, I have a question. Good afternoon. What is better to do after UG, to do PG or to get into a job? What can be more useful? Very good question, person. I am really, really excited to answer this for you. So tell me this, UG is undergraduation, PG is post-graduation, right? Once you do your UG, you are graduated. So why do you have to do post? There has to be something reason for you to look into post, right? There is a study saying that PhD people are people who did masters, or people who did PhD are not being paid to their potential. They are not being paid to the level of that degree. It's like only 11% people are paid properly, and like only 11% people are employed after masters. The perfect reason is why you did masters. So after you did graduation to do work, you did graduation, you studied all these 4 years to perform some work, to do a job, to be able to do something on your own. When you have not done that work, how can you say post graduation is a need for you? If you think post graduation people would be paid this much, where graduation people are only paid this little amount of money, it's crap. Because they are not paid because of their degree, they are paid because of their level of understanding, their experience, and what they are able to do there. Okay. So I'll tell you this way. I'm an MBA. Okay, I'm a civil engineer come MBA. So two different fields in terms of some people's perspective. For my perspective, and on the overall perspective, it is 50% what you need for your job to be run. 50% is like the reason. If you have to run a business, most of the time work on is management, not your civil engineering work. But what kind of work you do is the civil engineering. So for example, you have to construct a building. The construction building, if you have to begin that work, you need to know what kind of materials are used, how it is performed, and what to do, what task is to be done. That is taught to you in in your particular subject. So you are taking that subject onto the field and you are performing that job. You do that job for some days, some years together. That says at one point of time you feel like my knowledge to this is limited, because in graduation you're taught about fundamentals. There are things that go beyond fundamentals. You need to research on it, you need to look on it, and you need to be subject matter expert on that particular subject. And then you have to go and pick your masters, not just because you have time after your graduation, or you have not got job after your graduation, or you have so much money after your graduation. You'll still be the same person after your masters, you know. Just that an M is added, a P is added before your degree, which makes no sense in the market for you. a person with PhD but no experience, never been into a company and never been on any kind of work, is still paid to the level of your graduates. That is the reason in the market you keep hearing this, that PhD people are also not being paid to their level, to that degree level. It's because they are not looking for the degree, but the work or the things that they bring onto the desk. For instance, you have Dr. VBR with us, right? So he was there with us. When he was teaching to us, we all were convinced that without even without a PhD, he is a person equal to PhD. So we had a wonderful person who taught us for cement, for the concrete technology, ma'am Gauri ma'am. And every time she used to teach us, there is no need for them to hang on about that. Yes, this person, you know what, I've did masters, you know what, I've did PhD. It's because when they teach you, when they bring that knowledge on in front of you, with or without that degree, you would give that credits to that person. Like, dude, this person is a subject matter expert in this. He is a master. He is the doctor in this. So that is the reason we give, or we bring them into, we pay them the respect. So whenever you're looking for PG, it is needed for you, but not as just as when you finish your graduation. Take your time. If you are not able to land a job, it is okay. It's not that you're not fit for the location, you're not fit for the job, or it's not that you don't have the skills. It's just that you didn't find your right one. I know I'm talking all about in HR sense, but this is crude truth. After you go, these are the small and minimal points that eat away your brain and make you take decisions in a haste. Like, whatever job, man, let it go. Let me get one job. Let me get one payment. So that is how most of them have shifted to IT today. So once you're there in IT, your interest will change. You would mend yourself in line to those ideas. You could say it compromise. You could say finding your right interest, or you could say that is the real one that you have been looking for. Maybe it's for that person. It is to person, but still, do not be hasty and just take whatever it comes your way. Look for what you want, because if you do PG and after PG also you have no work, basically they won't take you after PG if you are not fit for, or if you are not able to find a job after PG. The normal the level of the job level where they only need graduation, you would be missing your chance to get those jobs also, because you have studied very high and what they are going to offer you is very low. This will not match. This is a mismatch. So they won't be easy, or they won't feel comfortable putting a it is like bringing a PhD lecturer and asking him to teach for 6th class and 7th class. That is how the mismatch would look like. So don't take masters easily. They are meant for a purpose. They are meant for developing your expertise in particular branch. If you are not able to find that branch, it's no use taking it. Thank you, Srinivas sir. It's so great to hear from you. Okay, so I have a question here. Who designed this software, IT or civil? So it is a complementation job sometimes, or it is a partnership job or could be one single person. Also, for example, the person who built a brick, he is not a civil. The person who uh, found or discovered or invented, yeah, invented is the right word. Sorry for that. So the person who invented brick is not a civil engineer. He was a IT guy, and he was a working mason. So it's not mandate that IT person will only help you build a civil engineer. There is a Japanese guy, a very famous Japanese guy. You can search for it because I'm not so familiar with his name. That person, who was basically a IT person, had come back after he has done civil engineering at his age of 60 and developed his glass house, and he has designed an IT software for Japanese technology. So the roots stay in civil. So a person who has to design IT, design a software, maybe he may be from IT department or not, but he definitely need a support of civil engineer. I'm telling you why, because the roots are important. The roots, the fundamentals bring you they are the gist of the software. If you take this just to a code developer, he could write a code for you and there becomes your software. So mostly the companies that own their own personal software for particular designing or testing tools, they actually take they take this project or description to a IT person, a code developer, and that code developer would design a testing tool for them to test this. So the EPA I was specifying to you earlier, it's a kind of testing tool designed by a IT company for a civil company. And this civil engineering company has reached out to this IT person. So this is a kind of creation of two jobs. So you can find similar softwares used for uh, mining and petrol driving distillation processes in Australia. You have a very big unit, like you have a lot of mining departments in Australia. So these companies would come to us Indian companies to have testing tools and softwares designed for them. So if that answers the question, I hope so. Um, Sinroy, hi, software. I thank you for suggestion. Thank you. Hope you will find your interest. It's not needed that whatever you're studying should drive you, but I tell you, whatever drives you, study that. Whatever drives you, study that. If not today, tomorrow. So my interest has always been design. So I've been studying design till now, and even in this civil engineering, that was my favorite part. Design of materials, design of process, design of concrete, estimate of concrete, and floor plan designs, housing designs, to that extent, even brush designing. These are my favorite parts. So I have been on them constantly. So I've been they pique my interest. So whether I work in that or not, it doesn't matter for me. But for someone, it might matter. So if you are interested, take your next step, your master's in that way. Work in that particular field at least for 1-2 years. The first 6 months will not be considered working for you freshers because it is like for example, a girl is married and she's sent to a different house. The first 6 months make no impact. After 6 months tells you who is what and what is how it is going. So the job is also similar like that. For you to get into the core of the company and dwell yourself into the work, you have to come across the trainings, the knowing market, and then start working, building up. So that starts after 6 months. So if you are able to stay in a place, that is why they ask you to stay in a place at least for 1 year. After your graduation, wherever you go, stay there for at least 1.5 to 2 years. If you're not able to do that, you are actually bringing a mark on your career. It might or might not affect you, but yes, it is a mark. Okay, thank you. Okay, so yes, I'm up for my time. I'm up for my time. So I would end this session here, and I would like to take this over to Dr. Bhaskar, sir. And I do have one last question that has just come up. What are the requirements to get job as the civil quantity and control safety management? So I would want to quickly answer this for you. I might not be able to give you a complete picture on this, but there is something called NICMAR. So you can search for this NICMAR. Safety and control, quality control and safety assurance is a subject. So if you have read that, if you had that as a elective in your list that you studied for this years, you can have that. Or else you need to take this course separately, because this is a certification. So when you have to judge, or uh, when you have to certify someone else's quality, you have to be an approved certifier. So for that reason, you need to do this course, quality assurance. It's called quality control and safety assurance course. You can look for that, but the best place is NICMAR. It is in Hyderabad. A triple IT campus offers this. Even IIT Hyderabad offers this. You can just look up for this. Hope so. This is all I could do for today. Hopefully, we'll meet next time. Thanks, sir. So I would pass this over to VBR, sir.
Thank you, Prasanna. We are at the end of the session 4 of this Alumni Talk series. Our many thanks to Prasanna Nagalakshmi for accepting to be the speaker for today's session. And I also extend my thanks to HOD, faculty, and my dear students. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for inviting me. And I'm sorry if I've override the time. Please do drop any questions you have in my you can write letters to me at nagalaxmiprasana@gmail.com. I'm just putting the address in here.